So strings represents a group of characters which are enclosed with single or double quotes. So the class in which strings can be defined is str. So these are the following examples, which includes Chennai, Rakshit, str1, where hi, how are you doing? So this is just brief introduction of string. So now let's move on to indexing in string. Indexing represents the position of a character in a string. So index can be performed in positive and negative way. So when you look into this example of str1, which is Puneet, so I have mentioned in with the memory slots where indexing is happening in positive way, like 0 1 2 3 4 5. This is the positive way, and it ends to length of string -1, since the length of the string is 6 and -1 is 5. So the starting point is 0 1 2 3 4 5. And the negative indexing can be used as shown below, where it corresponds from -1 of the length of the string -1. So then -2 -3 till the 0th position of Puneet. So this is an indexing of part. So I'll try to show in the demo the code example. Uh, Indexing dot py. So let me take the same example which I have worked. So the example is Puneet, right? So when I print it, yeah, I print it, so we could able to get its exact position, but we need to check whether the positioning is right or not. So for that we can use indexing. Before that, let's move on to length first. So I will try to get its length. I will discuss this length function in this session itself. So yeah, for your convenience, whatever the contents I have written in this index in this slide, right? So I wanted to disclose or expose everything in the code editor. So I just shown you the length of this Puneet is 6, and the same thing I have explained here. Okay. Now let us try to figure it out the positions. So we'll try to get the positions. So print str of str1 of 0. Str of 0. When I run this, the first alphabet is Puneet. So in the same way, I try to print all the things. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I can go for fifth one as well. So if I print this, so the first output is print str1, which gives the output of that string, and the second print is the length of that function and the alphabets which are printing is based on the index values of that string. So this how exactly the indexing works in terms of string. So this is positive indexing. Now let us go for negative indexing. So let's print this. So I will come from the negative one. So negative one is like if I just print -1, so the fifth element in the positive indexing will be print like h. You could able to find, right? So in this way you could able to get the index. So that's what I have explained this, right? So the fifth position represents to -1. In this way you could able to get all the values -1, -2, -3, -5, -6. So when I print this, I could able to see from HTINUP everything is been printed from the reverse order since I have taken on its negative index. This is how the indexing in string works. So that's the completion of indexing. Now, if we want to access the characters of a string, we can make use of index. For example, uh, I I think you are a bit clear now. So I've already accessed each and individual characters with the help of its index value like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you want to alter any of the positions in the string character, then can you do or not? So it's not possible because so modifying characters in the string is not possible because it's an immutable type. If the data type is immutable, modifying an object of that particular data type cannot be possible because object whose values are contained cannot be changed or modified, hence they are called as immutable objects. Since the strings are immutable, we could not able to modify its element. So that's what. So if you want to have a check on that, uh, str1 of 2 is equal to r. Just consider r. Then if I try to print str1, then let me check. So str object does not support item assignment. So this is the error or type error we used to get. Since the string is immutable, could not able to perform its uh, could not able to perform or modifying the object of string. That's all with accessing characters of string. Now let's move on to slicing of a string. Slicing is a method in order to retrieve a set of elements or a piece of elements from the string. So we have discussed this before, I think so. I can speak up. So the syntax for slicing is new string name is equal to string name start stop step size. So for example, if you want to get any of the piece of element or if you want to get any of the range of characters in that particular string, we can make use of slicing. So anyhow, this gives an error. Just remove this and everything looks fine. So slicing dot py. So let me take this as my example. So instead of str, I use st1. So here, if I want to get only the pun as my output. For example, if you want to get only puni, then we could able to get it with the help of slicing. So here, the operation can be done with the following syntax. The first thing is start, stop, and step size. What are starts explains? Start represents the starting point. By default, it will be 0, and stop represents the ending point. It not included in the range of elements. Like for example, if you select 0 and 4 for this example 1, if you select 0 and 4, the last element won't be considered. It won't be in the range of elements, so the data will be printed from 0 to 3. That's what it represents. So since stop represents the ending point, it does not include in the range of elements. The step size represents the step interval. By default it is 1. So since the gap between the first element and the last element, so that represents the step size, and the interval between them will be uh, indicate step size, and by default it will be 1, and you could able to alter this to any of the value based on your range of elements. If the start and stop are not specified, then slicing is done from 0 to n minus 1 elements. So if you does not specify the slicing operation without without any of start or stop. So then the following operation can be done from 0 to n minus 1 element. Then start and stop can be negative numbers. So even negative numbers can be used while slicing because the string can support negative indexing. Hence, slicing can be done with the help of negative numbers as well. So these are the few examples. So let me try to run these operations itself. So here the first example is str1 0 to 4. So since the first element is 0, the last element is 4. So the last element won't be considered in the range of elements, hence only 0 to 3 the elements will be printed. So that is PUNI. And in terms of second case, str1 1 to 5 and the step size is 2. The range, the step value is 2, so the gap will be differed with terms of 2. So the fifth element won't be included. So from 0 to 4 it will consider, from 0 to 2 4 0, and second value will be considered, and third value will be considered. Sorry, here, so since the first element is 1, so the first element u will be considered and I will be considered. Since the last element fifth will be ignored, you don't have any of the last value. And in the third example, str1, we have an example of -4 to -1. So since the first value is -4 and the last value is -1, without any step value, by default it will be considered as 1. So the value will be printed is like NIT, and hence the last element will be ignored. So we can have check this in the code editor. So str0 to 4, first let us print st1 from 0 to 4. When I print this, would able to get it as point. So that's what I have indicated. And the second one is 1 is to 5 is to 2. So it means we need to start with the first element 1 to 5 step size of 2. So as I said, UI will be printed. Since UI is the first element is u and the last element is 5. The last element will be ignored from the range and only it will be considered till 4. But the step size is 2, it will be moved to the second value. If it is 1, by default it will be taken as UNIT. But right now the step size has been given as 2. It will move for second value, which is UI. That's all. And hence for next for the next movement, it doesn't have any of the last element. The last element range has been end there, so hence it is ignored. So now let us move on to the third example, which we use for negative indexing. Print st1 -4 -1. So when I print this, you could be able to get NIT. So that's what I have mentioned here. So since the first starting value is -4, which is n, and the last value is -1h, so the data which will be printed is like NIT. So that's what the output is. Yeah, I think you are be clear with slicing a string. Now let us move on to string functions. So every data type will have certain its functions, because which makes them a unique. So we could able to perform some set of functions which will be commonly used with respect to string. Yeah. So len function, this method returns the length of the string, so which I have explained here, right? So in order to get the length of the string, len of Punit or str1, I get the value as 6. In while explaining indexing, I just perform this operation. So there I got the value as 6. That's what the functionality of string. Anyhow, I will try to explain that itself, so it will be bit clear for everyone. So if any additional cases there means we could able to consider few more examples. The first one is length. So I will be writing each and every comment. So for your reference, you could able to get it. Print len of st1. If I print its length, it will give the length of that string value, which is 6. It has totally 6 characters. That is the first function. It returns the length of the string, upper. So this method is used to convert all the characters of a string into uppercase. So upper function, upper. So print uh, okay, let me print it. Print st1 dot upper. So if I print this, so each and every character of that string will be printed in capital letters. That's the functionality, or that's the function of upper function. And lower function. Lower function, this method is used to convert all the characters of a string into lowercase. For example, uh, I'll consider one more example as let us consider Ramji. Now, if I want to execute code for lower, I will make use of a lower function. Function st1 dot st2 dot lower. So when I print this, so you could able to get the characters of that string in small letter. So here Ramji is in capital letter. Now the output of lower function is Ramji in the small letters. Capitalize. This method is used to capitalize the first character of the given string. So let's run this. Capitalize. So print st1 dot capitalize. If I run this, now initially the Punit, the name starts with small letter. The first character of that Punit is small letter. By using an capitalize function, now I've created with the help with capital letter of P for the name Punit. That's the functionality of capitalize. Find function. This method is used to find a word and returns the index of first occurrence of that word in the string. For example, if there is an two characters, I mean to say, uh, now let us consider one more I in Punit. For example, if you want to find the character I in the Punit, so you can make use of so I will create for understanding. I will create one more string. So Puniti I have created. So here I have used I twice in order to get the occurrence, in get the exact position or index of that character which you are looking for, can be done with the help of find function. So currently there are two I here, but what exactly the find function will be do is like it will check for the character in that string. So what is the possibility, like if there is multiple occurrence, like multiple occurrence in a case, more than one occurrence, so then it will take the first occurrence of that character. For example, here the first occurrence will be 0 1 2 3 4. So at fourth position it is located, and it will give an index value as 3, since the position is 4 and it will give an index as 3. So let us check that. So fine, print so st3 dot find I. So when I print this, so you could able to get its position as 3 because PUNI, it is located at third position, third index value with fourth position in the characters. So that's what it represents. So this is the use of find function in order to get its occurrence in the word of the string. Is upper. Is upper. This method is used to test whether the given string is uppercase or lowercase. So anyhow, we have an example. Is upper print st1 dot is upper or not. So is upper, this method is test whether the given string is uppercase or not. If it is uppercase, then will it return as true or it will return as false. So in my case, st1 is Puneet, which is of small letters, and I'm checking whether the given string is upper or not. So when I print this, it will return as false since it is small. The same way is lower also works. So it will check whether the characters of the string is lower or not, and it will return a true or false based on its condition, whether it is lowercase or uppercase. Is lower print st1 dot is lower. So I'm checking now. Since is upper was false, I will check for lowercase now. Now it will return true because Puneet is in small letters, right? That's all. So L strip. So L strip, this method is used to remove the spaces which are at the left side of the string. And R strip, this method is used to remove the spaces which are at the right side of the string. Strip, this method is used to remove the spaces from both the side of the string. So we can execute all the things in one go. So I will make use of string for st4. Here I will use left tab and write Raju. st5 is equal to Rakshi. So then st6 is equal to Ramesh. I will try to create a space in both the ends to execute a strip operation on this string. So now let us perform L strip. So what exactly the L strip is to do is like it remove the spaces which are at the left side of the string. So in the str4 we have n spaces at the left side. So let us check it. L strip print st4 dot L strip. So in the code editor you don't have to write each and everything, so automatically the suggestion will be given based on your code. st4, if I run this, so now the left space has been completely removed. For R strip, so what exactly the R strip do is it removes the spaces which are at the right side of the string. So if I try to run this again with the using R strip, what it will do, let us check. It won't do any operation because R strip removes the spaces at the right side of the string, but we are taking the example which is at the left side of the string, right? So now when you check here, you could able to find the space before Raju. So the first example why it's printing Raju is because we have used L strip where it just remove the left space and it's printed only the normal string. But in the next example we are using R strip for the string which is space Raju. It's not performing operation because R strip performs only it removes the spaces which are at the right side of the string. So when I use st5, when I run this, for me it's Rakshi now, so it's clear. So the space has been removed here, and I think it's clear now. So finally, the strip method is used to remove all the spaces, both the sides of the string. So in str, we have Ramesh with the spaces on both the sides. We could able to remove that strip operation. Print space. Print st6 dot strip. I print this. The following spaces which on the both the sides has been removed. That's all with the strips. Now let us move on with replace. So let us take one more example now in order to make it clear for you guys. T7 is equal to, let us create Ram Arjun as this my string. So here this is my string which has two components, mainly Ram and Arjun, but it is considered as only one single string. Here I need to replace something. In case of Ram, I need to add beam Arjun. So how can we do? We can do that operation with the help of replace function. So let us print x is equal to, so what is the syntax for it? String dot replace old dot new. Here where we are replacing is, it is on st7 dot replace old is Ram, and we need to replace it with beam. Got it, right? So here Ram Arjun, in place of Ram we need to add a beam. So exactly it is string number 7 st7, so I'm using that. So that's all. And when I print it, when I print x, so let us see the changes, what exactly it happens. Now see, now the Ram Arjun has been changed to beam Arjun. So here in st7 it's Ram Arjun, now I have changed that to beam, and now the final output is beam Arjun. This is how exactly the string works. Next, split. What is split? This method is used to split a string into elements. These elements runs as a list. So the split function is used to split the given string into two elements and returns these splitted elements in terms of list. So let us check. Split. Okay. So st7 is there, right? So let us print it. Print st7 dot split. So since it is separated with spaces, so I'm just using a space here. By default it will be used as space only. When I print it, now Ram Arjun has been splitted, string has been splitted into two different components and that are listed in list. So this is how the split works. Now if you want to join these strings into one string, we could be able to make use of join function. Join print here we don't have anything, so it's default comma. So now I need to join them. Sorry, I need to join them. Join and string is okay. Let me print this first. One second. Comment here. Here just print this results because it will help us to join. So here when I run this, So y is equal to st7. No problem. Uh, so we can join this. st7 dot split, right? We could able to join two different string. So okay, yeah, exactly the like some module has been imported, so that's why it's giving some error. Okay, now let us uh, run this with an example y. So int y. Okay, when I run this, I'm getting the value in terms of y. If I want to join, so how I could able to do is like print, since I doesn't have any separator in my string, I just ignored it and I join it with y. So when I run this operation, now it is the same one which we have printed. So if you want to print with spaces, then if you run this, you will get some spaces. This is how exactly the join works. I think you are clear with split and join. Now starts with and ends with. So this method is used to check whether a given string starts with a substring or not. So let us execute it. No problem. I think it will give some uh, detailed information for you. Now let us look back into the example. So st7, let us consider st7. Here we are not checking starts with, ends with for a single character. We are checking with a substring. So that's what it has been clearly mentioned. It is starts with a substring or not. So print st7 dot starts with ram. If it is prints with starts with st's ram, then it will print as true. It will give a logical values true. So that's what it's doing. So since it starts with ram, it is giving as true. Ends with, for example, if I add a again, then if I check, now I will get false because ra was my the first string, but now I have added one more character which is known as ram, which is of double character of a. That doesn't work. Now let us check with ends with. So ends with this method used to check whether a given string is ending with a substring or not. So it will check whether the ending of the string ends with a specific substring or not. Ends with Raju. Let us check. Since it is an Arjun here, Ram Arjun, it will give an false output because I have given as Raju. If I add Arjun here, it will work as true. That's all. I think we have completed all the concepts related to string. What is string, indexing, accessing of characters, and slicing will be almost common with all the types of data types of sequences like list, tuples, and I will be explaining each and everything even there as well. So for your understanding, just try to understand the beginning point itself, so you don't want to mess up there. Then string functions, we have discussed the commonly or majorly discussed string functions, which are around 15. So I think split and join are the two important things you must be aware. So just practice all these functions. I will understand in well and good way. So I will be attaching the file coding file as well. If you have any queries with respect to examples or if you're trying with any example, if you have any queries, you can cross check in my code example. I have written everything and I have executed, so I will be sharing even the source code of the execution as well. That's all for the day with the help with string. That's it.